So how's it going, guys? So I just recently, the other day, did a video, the WWE top 10 most viewed, most popular YouTube videos. And I thought it was a really fun video. People seemed like they enjoyed it for the most part. Didn't get quite as many views as I thought, but you know what? Go check it out. And I'm figured, why not do one on Impact Wrestling? And I was thinking about this, but one of my subscribers or viewers, I'm gonna guess you're a subscriber, I am the best 237. He asked, can you please do one for Impact Wrestling? He's got a nice picture of Vince Russo there, who I'm a big fan of. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Because Impact Wrestling, was actually way more popular than AEW at one point. So I'm like, they have a lot of good moments. Don't sell them short. They may be in a rough spot currently, but at one point, they were doing quite well, and it did look like they could have possibly at one point been competition for the WWE when they were on Spike TV and they had Russo writing for them and they had the Main Event Mafia. There was a lot of good quality moments on there, and a lot of the stuff that I really liked came from like the weekly pay-per-views. But I'm going to tell you something. I was surprised and taken aback by a lot of those most viewed videos on WWE's YouTube page. Like, I didn't expect to see a lot of those things, what I ended up seeing being on there. And I tried coming up with like explanations. Now, I said there was a few things about them. A lot of them involved women. Even Stephanie McMahon was on a lot of them. They all seem to have a reason of some sort for being on there. The top spot, like I said, for the WWE one, I know a lot of people like that moment. I thought it was an okay moment. I think it's probably better than a lot of like the current stuff we got, but it really wasn't anything too spectacular, really. Like, you could think back in history and think of so many more memorable moments, than just Randy Orton kind of being over Stephanie and just giving her the lightest, weakest kiss you could possibly see. So, here's the thing. We're going to take a look here at Impact. So I'm going to bring it up on the screen, and we're going to see what their top moments of all time as far as YouTube and views go. So we're going to start off as a countdown. We'll start from number 10, from the least viewed of the top 10, and then work our way back to number 1. And you'll already see on screen, what's number 1, of course. I just have to have the visual up on there, but we'll get to it. So we start off at number 10 with something that's very surprising here. An explosion match, which is from February 6, 2016. Jesse Goddard versus Mahabali Shira. I had never heard of this guy. That's why I'm like weirdly pronouncing his name, because I didn't watch Impact at this time. But if you look at the comments, you'll see that there's a lot of Punjabi and Indian individuals commenting on this. And if you look back, like, they have a video in their own right with quite a bit of views. I think it was like 16 million or something, from a Superstars match back in 2013 between the Great Khali and Jinder Mahal. So, and actually I looked on WWE just really quickly. I'm probably missing something, but even a lot of the Jinder stuff doesn't get as many views. I don't know what this guy is all about. He doesn't seem like he's that popular, but I guess whatever the case may be, they're drawn to this guy. I know, he's wrestled like around the world and stuff like that, but I didn't even know that Jesse Goddard was still in Impact at this point. What I remember him from mostly was his stint in the Bromans with Robbie E, and they even talk about it here in this match. Now, Jesse Goddard, this guy has an incredible build, an incredible physique. He's got the notoriety from Big Brother. That's probably why many people are Big Brother fans. I don't know about the current popularity of the show, or if it's even still on the air. I still believe that it is. This was a popular show. So that's why kind of this guy managed to get his start. And there's a lot of other wrestlers that have been in Big Brother and other reality shows. I mean, take a look at The Miz. He was in The Real World, one of the first reality shows that there ever was. So, you know, these guys, they get into the business and they get popular. But Jesse Giles was like, the guy just didn't have the it factor. You know, I remember like he was okay on the mic. I don't really think they let him talk that much. I mean, Robbie, he was more of the one with the silver tongue. But then when they kind of let him loose on his own, there just really wasn't a lot there. They teamed him up with Tara, who was Victoria in WWE. This match is, you know, you got Shira winning it, but there's not really a whole a lot to love about this match. I guess it's like people just kind of liked it because, you know, they had their guy in there. If you're a fan in India and you see this guy, and you know he's a pretty big towering guy, this is an impressive specimen. And Shira actually looks more like a star than Jesse Gathers. So with that in mind, it's interesting to watch this match and see like it's nothing amazing or great. I mean, you've got two guys who are physical specimens in here. But you're also watching two guys that really would not go on to anything. I don't think that this guy really ended up being anything, at least in Impact. So I can't really say that these guys are, you know, that he's a tremendous star or anything. But 14 million views for something that is, this is the AEW Dark. This is the Sunday Night Heat equivalent. Or Superstars or main event. They still have main event on that they show on the network. So that's kind of the equivalent here. Explosion's been around for a while. It was always there even during the weekly pay-per-view days. It was a way of, you know, giving you a show for free. You know, you had to have cable to watch it, but it was always on the weirdest of channels. I still remember that. It was bizarre, but Explosion is a pretty like historic thing for Impact. They've had it running, and technically it is like their longest running show of sorts. It's been on even more than Impact. Go back and take a look at that. So this is a little bit surprising. Jordan Grace destroys Alexia Nicole. This is an Impact highlight from May 10th, 2019. So this is a fairly recent video. You know, we're talking about something that's a year and a half ago, pretty much. 16 million views on this. And Jordan Grace, first of all, okay, we could say that she's attractive. We could say that she's got these enormous thighs. So people are obviously going for that. But you'll look in the comments and you will see why people went for this video, because it's the thumbnail. I mean, you know, just look at it. And they're even saying that that's why they clicked on it. So, you know, Alexia Nicole is just a jobber. I don't know on the indies, you know, what she's accomplished and what she's done. But, you know, you've got two attractive girls going at it in this one. And you're going to see that that's a continuous theme. And we saw that even with the WWE one. There's got to be like a girl involved in it in some way. Let me check. What was like some of the things that they had? Well, some of them were. Some of the things that they had involved girls. Actually, there was Stephanie. They had not really a lot actually with the women. As much as there is here with TNA. Yeah, that's interesting. I thought there was more stuff with the women. I guess I was wrong. Yeah. They actually had more guy stuff that was popular with WWE, except, you know, Stephanie made her way into like two different things on that one, like the slapping and the Orton thing. But this, people seem to be going for Impact. And this is, it's interesting because, you know, Jordan Grace is not like a household name or anything like that. And you have like more popular, you know, Sasha Banks and everything, and Charlotte, and even their matches and moments and segments haven't even gotten anywhere close to the 16 million mark. You know, at least not what I saw. There's a lot of videos to review on the WWE YouTube channel, but there's nothing that got really as close to this, as far as like normally. But yeah, Jordan Grace is definitely she's a good female wrestler. She looks good and everything. This is obviously more she's meant to be less of eye candy and more of like the respectable wrestler type. But she's in good shape. And, she's like a bigger, thicker girl. And obviously, like I said, the thumbnail is what does it here. So, everyone that always says, oh, if you want to see that type of stuff, you go on the websites and like these people are goofballs. They don't understand that this is one of the biggest selling points for wrestling. This was one of the big selling points throughout WWE history when it's the women. Some people will watch it just for the women. People don't want to admit that. You think that that's what people wanted in WWE is the women main eventing at WrestleMania. You think that that's what people wanted when it came to female wrestling. Well, you're wrong. This is what people want to see. They just want to look at the girls. They don't care what moves they're performing. They don't care about the work rate and all that. That's the stuff that the smarks believe in. They think everything it matters about, what matches are the best. That's not what it is at all. So at number 8, we've got Abyss versus Congo Kong Monster Bowl match in 4, which means 4 minutes. Impact highlights March 22nd, 2018. This got 17 million views. And, this is a pretty hardcore match. Congo Kong is big, but man, oh man, I mean, like, this guy right here, he's really had his shape. We've talked about this time and time again, about, like, when you look at people like Vader, you didn't see a fat guy. But here with Congo Kong, I mean, this guy is just all flabby. I don't get it. Why can't some of these wrestlers get in shape? I understand that, there's been some big men in the past, King Kong Bundy and stuff, but they weren't all like flubbly and just kind of gross. I mean, this guy just has layers and layers of fat on him. You've got fat rolls like in individual sections. I mean, he almost looks like a Christmas ham, when they have it like all tied and you see it just like protruding through. I don't know, but I know Congo Kong is really popular throughout the indies and stuff, but I don't know. I look at him in Abyss and I with Congo Kong, I'm like, okay, this guy just looks like a mess. He's fat, his hair is just all, fucked up, and I don't know. I don't see the appeal here. But it was enough to get 17 million views. I don't know if it's the thumbnail with, Abyss with Janice, the 2x4 with the nails sticking out of it. I don't know if that is what made people want to click on this. Then you've got So, we'll move on. There's not really a lot to say there. It's a hardcore match. You've got thumbtacks. You got table spots. Number 7, we've got a knockouts match. Taryn Terrell versus Madison Rayne, November 12th, 2014. 22 million views. And once again, the thumbnail, guys. The thumbnail is what does it here. I mean, you look at this and there's once again no surprise why people clicked on it. And you look at the comments, what's very interesting. This is from 6 years ago, 2014. People were saying in the comments that they felt that WWE had dropped the ball at the time for the women that they had. And people were saying like they have much better looking girls. And these were two actually, very attractive girls that they had on the roster. I know Madison Rayne came back recently. Taryn Terrell, if people don't know, if you've never watched Impact, she was Tiffany. She actually technically was the GM of ECW in WWE. And, she didn't last very long. She was there maybe for a maximum of 2 years. And then they released her. So you've got this match here. Taryn Terrell ends up winning with a rather odd-looking move. I don't know what it was. It was sort of like a reverse hip toss of sorts. But that's not what it's about. And actually, really, I looked at this match, and I'm sure if you asked the Smarks, they would say these two girls don't know how to work. But I was like, this match was actually good, and just as good as anything I would see from the women in WWE in their, quote unquote, like elevated spots of being respectable wrestlers. This is the thing here, guys. I mean, 22 million views for all of Impact. And this is a company that has been in existence for 18 years now. This really says something. Many people would say, oh, the X Division matches, the X Division matches. There's not one X Division match in this whole fucking top 10, mind you. So I thought that was very interesting. So yes, the girls is what sells this company, and they had it right. And I don't know, they started to kind of go away from that and kind of be serious wrestling again. They gave Tessa Blanchard the world title and everything, and they thought it was all about just being the best wrestler. That's not what it is at all. Why is Taryn Terrell and Madison Rayne in a higher spot on this list than Tessa Blanchard? Like, she didn't even make it into the top 10. Then we've got at number 6 another explosion match, which is further proof, guys, that it does not matter if it's on the flagship show. It doesn't matter, that they've got the best talents in there. It doesn't. I mean, once again, it's because we've got girls in here. We've got Jessie Goddard teaming up with Angelina Love versus Knox, who was Mike Knox in WWE, and Rebel. This is from the explosion on July 31st, 2015. These two were in the menagerie at the time, Rebel and Knox. And this is like a decent enough match. I don't know what they were thinking here, like with the menagerie, like I don't even know. I didn't even really think that they were playing these roles particularly well. Like, they're supposed to be carnival folk, but they weren't even playing the roles very well. You had Crazy Steve in there, who I don't even know if he was still with the company at this point. But once again, you've got two really attractive girls, like Rebel, man, like, God. And you got Angelina Love in there. And you'll see, like, she's going to come back here on this list, and more than once. So, and this has got 35 million views, guys. I mean, this is nothing to sneeze at. This is nothing to take a look at and say, like, oh, well, this was just a random mixed tag match. Like I said, all these people that say, oh, if you want to see, the girls, go log on to a dirty website. Like, that's not how people think. They see this and they're on YouTube, they click on it, they see it, and there's not even an alluring thumbnail here, if you notice. This is just basically like they threw a match out there, and people, I guess, recognized Angelina Love, and I don't know if they recognized Rebel because she was short-lived here in the company, I think. But people liked it enough. And once again, Jessie Goddard, because of the notoriety of being on Big Brother, is there. And it's a decent match also. If you want to watch it, it's nothing terrible. But once again, it's kind of surprising. It really shows the power of the women on the roster and what they could bring in. At number 5, ODB calls out Mr. Spectacular on Open Fight Night, November 1st, 2012, with 35 million views. And, you look at the thumbnail here, and I don't know, is this done on purpose? I mean, you kind of look at it here, and you see there's a little bit of action going on there. Something like, oh, what's going on here in this scene? Nah, they knew exactly what they were doing. This is from 8 years ago in 2012. You got Taryn Terrell once again showing up in this list, and you've got ODB. And this is from Open Fight Night. This wasn't an Impact. It wasn't an Explosion. This was like something you actually had to pay for. I don't know who would be paying for this, to be quite honest, but as a 4-minute YouTube video, 35 million people decided that this was worth the watch, and they watched it. And, once again, a good thumbnail. I don't even think WWE kind of even understands this concept as much because, well, they kind of do. But, I mean, look at this, like, with the women. Like, they're not going to do that because, they've got the respectable women's division. But it seems like Impact really knows how to get the good thumbnail on there. They really didn't for the explosion match, though, I'm saying, if you noticed. They didn't really get anything too crazy. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at that explosion one. It kind of looks like Rebel's kind of grabbing at Angelina's chest a little bit. Maybe. I didn't really see that at first, to be quite honest, when I looked at it. But I don't know. I guess maybe that could have been a thing there. But they got the same amount of views there, 35 million. Anyway, so let's move on here to number 4. The 5 most romantic moments in Impact Wrestling history. This is the top, the Impact Plus top 5. 37 million views. Now this shares a lot of similarities. I'm kind of looking at my list, and when I did the WWE one, at number 3 for WWE was Stunning In-Ring Proposals. So they didn't have as much of like the sexual stuff on there, but the people were into the romantic stuff. How much did the WWE one get? Let's take a look at it. In-Ring Proposals got 175 million. So of course, it's WWE, they're way ahead, but not too shabby at 37 million. We got a few moments here. We had RVD making out with his wife. We had, I don't know who this other guy was, but you had Maria Kanellis and Mike Kanellis in there. And you had ODB and Eric Young getting married. Also, so a lot of people were really interested in seeing this. Like I'm saying, I think a lot of the viewers might be female, and they might be males too. They might want to, they know that women are going to be in this segment, obviously, and the girls know it too, so they probably want to check it out. So it's smart. And, you've got a decent looking thumbnail there. You got a kiss. You've got ODB, this girl with the tats just, kind of in there. And, you've got RVD there. And this girl's just kind of smooching on me. You kind of wonder, you want to click on it and see. From 10 months ago, it was posted last year. So it seems like it's being a pretty successful video for them. So I'm saying this is something that really sells. It really does. At number 3, Monsters Ball, Bram versus Abyss. This is from Impact on August 7, 2014. This got 45 million views. Another Monster Balls match. The other one with Congo Kong is kind of far behind with 17 million. But this one, I'm surprised with Bram. This guy wasn't even around for that long. He was Magnus's friend. And I know he's supposed to be a bad influence on Magnus, but somehow Bram is in this list. He's in the 3rd most popular, most viewed video for Impact. And that is really, really surprising. Another thing is what I'm also noticing here too is that the amount of views that they got, and they've only got, they're just a hair under 4 million subscribers. They got 3.95 million subscribers. So why Bram is in this, I couldn't really tell you. But man, they get 45 million views for not even having even a quarter of the subs of that amount. You gotta say they really built a pretty good list of videos here. And so how was this match? Well, I thought it was better than the Congo Kong one, to be quite honest. I thought Bram, he looked more like the part. He didn't stay around for that long, obviously. This was a guy who really didn't have so much of the it factor. I did like him. I remember watching him at this time with Magnus, and I thought that, there were things about him that were impressive, but it was nothing really to take him over the top. Bram ended up winning in surprising fashion. He put him through a table. Abyss gets up. He hits him with Janice, and he gets the pin. So it was surprising to see Abyss lose to Bram here. Obviously, it seemed like they had big plans for Bram, but they never came to fruition. At number 2, this street fight with Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, who are two guys that I'm pretty familiar with from Ring of Honor. And they came in here, and I believe both of them have won the world title. I don't know at this point if they did. This was from February 16th, 2017. These guys were the Wolves. 93 million views. And once again, you've got Angelina Love in there. And Alicia Edwards, who is Eddie Edwards' wife, she's in there. And basically what you've got here is Davey Richards is beating the shit out of Eddie Edwards. He's got Alicia handcuffed. She's screaming. And you've got Angelina Love there kissing Davey Richards as he's beating up on Eddie Edwards. And the one thing I got to say about this is, like, these are two pretty popular guys in Ring of Honor. But even during, like, the Ring of Honor days, I always, like, kind of looked at them and I was like, they did not seem as great as some of the other talent on the roster. Yet, like, the fans really like them for some reason. And they've seemed like they've been pretty successful in Impact. They've spent many years there. I think they went away for a little bit, but they came back soon after. One thing that I could not, go under my radar here was the really shitty, fake-looking chair shots. Like, Davey Richards gets a chair, and he tries to do Stone Cold versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17 with the repeated chair shots while he's grounded, and it just ends up looking like complete horse shit. I mean, these shots, they're like barely like grazing the guy's skin, and he's hitting him, and like they're the lightest chair shots. He's not laying them in, and I'm not saying like hurt the guy, but man, first of all, these are guys that have been in the business for a very long time. I'm talking about watching these guys back in the mid 2000s in Ring of Honor. And this is how he's selling chair shots. Eddie Edwards is selling chair shots like this. Like, maybe that might be the thing, but I was looking at Davey Richards, like, the way he was slowly and lightly giving the chair shot. I don't know if Eddie Edwards was legitimately injured at this point, but this looked pretty fucking horrendous. And maybe that's why maybe people shared the video because of the bad-looking chair shots, but I think it's a lot has to do with Alicia Edwards and Angelina Love. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to go to the number 1 spot. What is the number 1 most viewed video in the whole history of the Impact YouTube page, channel? We've got this one. I saw they actually did articles on this because I was trying to see, was this video posted on, was this episode of Impact from the date that it was posted on. I had a hell of a time looking that up, by the way, but it turns out, yes, it was. So I could have saved myself a lot of time, but I wanted to be sure for the sake of this video. So this is it. The Knockouts Evening Gown match. Madison Rayne versus Angelina Love, with 160 million views from the May 8th, 2014 episode of Impact. And this is what I'm saying, guys. I don't want to hear anyone say that, the bra and panties matches, the evening gown matches hurt WWE or hurt wrestling in general and hurt the credibility of the women. Let me ask you a question. When did Sasha Banks, when did Charlotte, when did Carmella, when did Natalia or any of these stars, and some of those are girls that I like on the WWE roster, by the way, but when's the last time they managed to fetch 160 million views? When was the last time they managed to do that? I'll tell you, I'll give you a little hint. Never. They never managed to get that far. And that really says something, that these girls, they manage to just do a little match here, and they didn't even really have to do all that much. They did a pretty good little cat fight sequence. They got into it with each other, but they didn't have to take dangerous bumps. No one had to climb on the top rope and do a moonsault out onto a bunch of other girls. They didn't have to main event WrestleMania. No, you know what they did to get ad revenue for Impact? They just tore an evening gown off of somebody. We also had Velvet Sky come in and, she flashes the referee. She's got a towel wrapped around her. And, so they left a little bit to the imagination. You just had a little something here went a long way. And so this is why it's completely ridiculous. I'm saying I'm looking at SmackDown. I'm thinking about my SmackDown review. I'm thinking about my SmackDown viewing experience. And I'm saying, like, these girls are going out there and they're killing each other with all these different matches, all these different spots. Oh, who's got the best work rate? And Madison Rayne and Angelina Love and Velvet Sky just doing a little appearance there. It's all it took to get 100 million views. Just because they did a little something there that was alluring, that was exciting, and the thumbnail, of course, helps. But aside from that, it really shows that the girls don't have to kill themselves to do all that. Okay, so you know what we'll do also here? So now we got the number one spot, 160 million views, very impressive. But we'll take a look at some of the other ones. What are the honorable mentions? What are the ones that also got pretty close? So we'll take a look at them. In the 11th spot would be the 5 most extreme knockouts matches in Impact history. The GWN, which is the Global Wrestling Network, I believe it was, top 5, which no one ordered this, by the way. But once again, the girls get into it here. They're on the list once again. And, I'm looking at it. I think there's more Taryn Terrell stuff. I can't really see who that is. I can't really make it out. But once again, the girls make it into the list. Then we get here, Bound for Glory 2011, Sting versus Hulk Hogan. This is Sting versus Hulk Hogan. 13 million views. Did I mention this one also? This was 14 million, just in case I forgot. But 13 million for Hulk Hogan and Sting. Jesse Goddard's ranked higher than Sting and Hogan. And the women outclassed them as well. These two indie jobbers, goofballs, they managed to get 93 million views just because they had the girls with them. I mean, it really shows these two greatest of all time couldn't even touch this other stuff. That's from 7 years ago, by the way. Sami Callihan assaults Tessa Blanchard with a baseball bat. Also, Tessa did actually get up here. I'm sorry about that before, but she didn't make it into the top 10. The top 10 is a pretty illustrious range. That's why we did top 10 and we didn't do top 12 or top 13. So, yeah, I mean, people are probably interested to see this. You've got the Sami Callihan with the baseball bat ready to hit the girl. People were probably interested to see what was going to happen with that. Then we got mystery revealed. Suicide is unmasked. This was like the second run of Suicide. And I forget who was playing him here at this time. It was a different wrestler than who it was at first when they were promoting the Impact video game. This got 12 million views. Then we see Tara versus Gail Kim. Taryn Terrell is the referee with 12 million views. And then Tessa Blanchard here when she upsets Brian Cage. So actually, when she won the world title, I don't even know how many views that managed to get, but it's nowhere even close here, which is very interesting to say the very least. So yeah, there you go, guys. Here, let me come back full screen to talk to you. Yeah, so there is quite a bit of surprising things on here, but it was more overwhelmingly the women on this list that really cleaned up and got most of the views. more than WWE. You know, we had the Stephanie things, the romantic stuff, but the other stuff did not involve the women for WWE. So it's really interesting. This was TNA's selling point, and well, they didn't really quite understand it. I guess they did kind of maybe look at this stuff and say, well, all right, you know what? So maybe we'll start pushing the women. And then they started doing this stuff with Tessa. And we kind of look at it in retrospect, and it didn't really help them at all. You want to see the stuff that would help them? You'd look at their YouTube channel. Because, guys, I think this is very interesting. YouTube is a way to see a company's content and make it very accessible. Not everyone turns on the TV anymore. You know, they get a lot of their media consumption, a lot of their entertainment from YouTube. So when they look at this stuff, they see like, oh, well, we can actually just see some of the stuff here, some of the moments. And what people clicked on was mostly the knockouts, mostly the women. So I thought that was very interesting to look at. So I want to thank I Am the Best 237 for that suggestion. This was a pretty fun video to make, and I hope you guys all enjoyed it too. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. And guys, thanks again. I'll see you next time.